I thought I had made the cheapest real estate purchase in history when I bought an abandoned house for just $100. Everyone laughed at me. The house was falling apart and looked completely worthless. But while renovating a damaged wall, I discovered a hidden room nobody knew existed. Inside were millions of dollars in cash and a sealed envelope. When I opened it and read the single message inside, I realized the money was only the beginning of a mystery that had remained hidden for decades. My name is Emily, and 2 years ago I was struggling to rebuild my life. After losing my job during a company downsizing, I spent months searching for work while trying to stretch every dollar in my savings account. Buying a house seemed impossible, but I continued looking for opportunities wherever I could find them. One afternoon, I came across a county auction listing for an abandoned Victorian home. The photographs showed broken windows, a damaged roof, and years of neglect. Most people saw a disaster. For some reason, I saw potential. The day of the auction arrived, and only a handful of people attended. Investors looked at the property details and quickly lost interest. When bidding opened at $100, nobody raised a paddle. The auctioneer repeated the price several times before finally pointing at me and declaring the property sold. The room erupted with laughter. Several people shook their heads as if I had just made the worst financial decision imaginable. I ignored them, signed the paperwork, and became the owner of a house nobody wanted. The first few weeks were overwhelming. Every room needed repairs. Rainwater had damaged ceilings, mold-covered parts of the walls, and the basement looked like it belonged in a horror movie. Still, I worked every evening and every weekend. Slowly, the house began to improve. As I renovated, I noticed several unusual details. The dimensions of certain rooms did not match the measurements shown on the original floor plans. One section of the upstairs hallway seemed far wider than it should have been. At first, I dismissed it as an architectural oddity, but the inconsistency continued to bother me. Several months later, while replacing damaged drywall in the upstairs hallway, my hammer suddenly punched through an empty space. The sound was completely different from the rest of the wall. Instead of solid resistance, there was a hollow echo. My curiosity immediately took over. I carefully removed more material and uncovered a steel surface hidden behind the plaster. As the opening grew larger, I realized I was staring at a concealed metal door that had been completely hidden for decades. My heart pounded as I searched for a way to open it. Eventually, I found a rusted latch tucked behind a wooden support beam. The mechanism resisted at first, but after several attempts, it clicked. The heavy door slowly creaked open. A cold draft escaped from the darkness inside. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped into a room that should not have existed. The hidden room was surprisingly clean compared to the rest of the house. Dust covered the floor, but the contents appeared untouched. Along one wall stood several metal storage containers. I opened the first one and froze. Inside were stacks of cash bundled neatly together. I opened another container and found even more money. By the time I finished checking the room, it was clear I was looking at millions of dollars. While trying to process what I had found, I noticed a sealed envelope resting on a small wooden desk in the center of the room. Unlike everything else, the envelope appeared carefully preserved. Written across the front were the words, "For the person who finds this." My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter from the home's former owner, Richard Holloway. According to the letter, he had spent years building a successful business empire before becoming the target of greedy relatives and corrupt business partners. He believed they were trying to take control of everything he owned. Fearing betrayal, he secretly created the hidden room and stored evidence proving his innocence. The final page contained a shocking message. Richard claimed the cash was only a fraction of what he had hidden. Attached to the letter was a key and the number of a storage facility hundreds of miles away. He ended the letter with a sentence that sent chills down my spine. "If you are reading this, they never found the truth." I immediately contacted an attorney and local authorities. What followed was a months-long investigation. Historical records, financial documents, and legal files revealed that Richard Holloway had been framed decades earlier by people he trusted. The hidden room contained evidence proving he had never committed the crimes he was accused of. When investigators opened the storage unit mentioned in the letter, they discovered priceless documents, rare collectibles, and records that finally solved the mystery surrounding Richard's disappearance. He had left voluntarily, spending his final years living quietly overseas. Before his death, he arranged for the evidence to remain hidden until someone eventually uncovered the secret room. News of the discovery spread across the country. Journalists covered every detail. Historians became fascinated with the case. Most importantly, Richard's name was finally cleared. The truth that had remained hidden behind a wall for decades was finally revealed. People often ask me whether finding the money changed my life. The answer is yes, but not because of the cash itself. The real treasure was discovering the truth behind a mystery that had haunted an entire town for generations. I restored the house, paid off my debts, and built a better future. But the lesson stayed with me forever. Secrets may remain hidden for years, yet eventually, the truth finds a way to break through even the strongest walls.